Recent Pokemon's returning series now currently underwhelming Pokemon can be fixed to be more viable in the OU tier, without fundamentally changing them too much. If you do enjoy the content, make sure you like and subscribe, as the large majority of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, and even checking it out if you are subscribed, it would be mad appreciative. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for the continued support. Before we begin, make sure you check out Luop XD or Luop. Luop has been a great friend of mine. He made videos edited, but also he provided us with Pokemon anime clips to help process the video. I'll put their link in the description for their channel below. One Pokemon I've always wondered about for days was a Pokemon that had an evolution line that was based around the day cycle. So I've decided to make a 3-part video series on how I can try to fix the Lycanroc forms. It is a very popular Pokemon in Generation 7, due to being the signature Pokemon of Professor Kukui, Gladion, and Ash Ketchum in the Pokemon anime, as Ash used one of his forms to win the Pokemon League in the Alolan Pokemon League tournament. But in this first part, I'm going to attempt to fix the underwhelming Lycanroc-Midnight, as it's considered to be one of the worst of the 3 forms. Let's see what this fluffy werewolf's debut is, how did it fall in the following generations, and how I can try to fix this Pokemon to be the best shape in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet OU. Lycanroc-Midnight was a Rock-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 7 as Professor Kukui's Rockruff in Sun and Moon, or whenever you encounter in 10 Carat Hill, and you evolve it to Rockruff at night to get the famous Lycanroc-Midnight. Lycanroc-Midnight, along with the other Lycanroc forms, has a base stat total of 487, but it differs in its stat spread of having base 85 HP, 115 attack, 75 defense, 55 special attack, 75 special defense, and 82 speed. Having that spread with the ability No Guard, its main role is to be a bulky attacker, or a slow wall breaker, being similar to the likes of Hoopa Unbound. It is known to use moves that the other 2 forms cannot use in Knock Off and Sucker Punch, but also having the Universal Stone Edge as well. It was debuted alongside Lycanroc-Midnight in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and later Lycanroc Dusk into Generation 7's metagame, where it fell off all the way down to the ZU tier, where in the midst of the rocky road it came from the newly added ZU tier. It got its highest highs in the midst of the Torterra era, and dropped to the lowest lows in the very beginning of ZU, where Dugtrio was a dominant presence. It finally made a balancing in the metagame, where it was in any position of having a C+ rank in the Sun and Moon ZU Fire Ability rankings. Fortunately, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, it had an even crazier run, where they were bouncing in and out of PU since its debut in the Isle of Armor DLC, where it had its debut as a mid-tier PU Pokemon, as it was a wall breaking with Sucker Punch, Knockoff, Stone Edge, and alongside the move Swords Dance, could help break the mold in the tier. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's metagame, it was known to be in the ZU tier from the jump, but it kept getting the note of being unviable, as it was completely outclassed by the mid-game form and other wall breakers that have more bulk, like Bluebonnet, by having the same moves, more bulk, and had the ability of making Pokemon fall asleep with Spore. Fixing Lycanroc is one of the best things in this video, as we can do a blueprint of what we can do for not only them, but the other forms as well, as I'm going to add 3 extra stat points, making their stats go from a base 487 to a base 490. Next, I'm going to do this as a rarity and give him the title as the 2nd ever Rock and Dark type, making it much stronger with his dark moves like Sucker Punch and Knockoff. Next, I'm going to rearrange his stats, where I'm dropping its HP, defense, and special defense by 10, reverting his defenses back to what it was, alongside adding the 3 points, in which I'm giving a whopping 20 points to his base attack, giving it a new attack stat of 135. And then finally, we're going to add the last 13 points into his stat spread into his speed stat, giving a respectable speed tier that can compete with some viable threats, now having a 95 speed stat. Finally, I'm going to add some special moves. These moves are going to be different compared to the other 2, but one of the only universal moves I'm giving to each form is U-Turn. U-Turn is a move that could be like Lycanroc-Midnight's Bandit sets, but also could be a way to bring out of a sticky situation with all important pivoting. The next move we're going to add is probably one of the most powerful and probably overtuned moves I'm ever going to send it, by giving it the move Dynamic Punch. This move alongside No Guard is probably one of the most busted and strongest moves that any Pokemon could rock. Alongside having the Fighting type Terra could bowl through most threats with No Guard Dynamic Punch, like how Machamp did when it got banned from Diamond Pearl Platinum's OU metagame. Finally, I'm going to give one last move and what it really deserves, as it was lacking from the other forms, and that move is Accelerock, as it is one of the Rock type versions of Quick Attack that both Lycanroc Dusk and Midday can use. to give my conclusion on these buffs, I think that Lycanroc-Midnight could be a niche wall breaker to bust down some threats in the OU or UU tier. But with his poor defensive typing and lackluster speed stat, I think it will be falling down to the RU tier and really be a very strong threat there. What do you think about these buffs on Lycanroc-Midnight? Comment down below what you'd like to change about it, and make sure you comment down below what Pokemon you want me to do in the future. My name is Mendito, thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope that y'all have a nice one. See y'all then.